every day of your life, you have to be conducting an exchange based on what you have and what you want.
All takes that passion in you. What are your goals? What do you want to attain? And from there, you're able to know where to start.
Don't think of that high business that you will start looking like, hey, mimi sitaweza biashara. Biashara you can start even at your doorstep.
The desire to change the livelihoods of fellow smallholder fish farmers is what has driven me into fish business.
So what we want to do is to ensure that when you walk in as an entrepreneur, you will be diagnosed, and then we'll ensure that we have different categories on how to handle you as an entrepreneur.
I would just like to recognize a few of the organizations that are represented here today. Of course, as I mentioned, the first is the Department of Trade and Enterprise Development from the county government. We have Youth Alive Kenya. We have Homeless of Kisumu. We have Aquarech. We have Parkview. We have Veldoc Designs. We have Ujima Foundation. We have Angaza Vijiji. And we have Lakewood Productions. Before me are three panelists. I'll give them this opportunity to introduce themselves. Because we are running on a short timeline, each will take about a minute to tell us about themselves and their business before we proceed. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Harrison Agundo. I work for Ujima Foundation. Ujima Foundation basically train young people with employability skills that help them get a job and keep a job. That is our main business. How can you get that job and how can you keep that job? Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dorcas, Director at Veldoc Designs. At Veldoc Designs, we deal in bags. I make and sell bags, basically out of leather, fused in Ankara prints, custom made to fit my clients' needs. So basically, that is what I do.
Good afternoon. My name is Okech. I am the CEO of an architect company that is called Aquarech. We infuse technology, credit financing, and market linkages to build productivity of smallholder fish farmers, enable them to access markets, and build their resilience against climate change. Thank you.
In most cases in our lives, we find ourselves at some point of our life doing businesses that are very simple, whether it's selling the old clothes, old television, things you've used in the past but no longer need, or whether it's starting a well-planned business with all the processes in place. You realize that every day of your life, you have to be conducting an exchange based on what you have and what you want. And if we do business on a daily basis, how then can we start to think of business as a can-do attitude? How do we think of entrepreneurship as so unique that only a few people can handle it? At Millennial-Legacy, we believe perhaps the pressure of handling business is what differs, but the concept is the same. If you want to sell something, you must look for a willing buyer. You can't force everyone to. like you or to like your product. And we'll get right into the topic of the day because as you've heard, these are individuals at the Center of Enterprise Development in Kisumu. And the first question I would like to ask my panelists, each of course will have about 2 minutes to share their views with our audience. The first one is, what are the available business opportunities that one can start in this town if they had 10,000 shillings today? What would you tell them to think about?
There are so many available business opportunities in this town because the problems are so many and people are looking for solutions. 10,000 is just a figure. It can start from 0 shillings by you having an idea of how to solve the problem, or it can start from 10,000 shillings or $1 million. We'll get there, it depends.
What would you say drove you to start this business? Out of all the businesses that you could have started running in this town, in this country, you went for design of bags using leather. Why?
Simple. I love bags. I'm an impulse buyer when it comes to bags and shoes. And I also love African prints, so that was my motivating factor.
Okay. The final question I have is success. No, they always say defeat is an orphan, but success has 100 fathers. If you want to see how many people consider you their village mate, succeed out in the world. And all of them will say, ule village iko neighbor ya yetu, namjua. Why do you think people associate with your brand so much? Which story in particular created the success that you believe continues to drive you? Harrison, tell us.
One, something that makes me outstanding, it's because how I do things. First of all, I have interest, I have passion in everything that I do. I really want to do it differently compared with the way people do it. So my way of doing things make people want to associate with me. Because we've taken away the idea of people thinking negatively about the small industry of food that is for a class of people who have not gone to school. Yet, it's for really learned people. People who touch food, they're people who are educated.
When you start a business, you always start with the aim of making a profit. But the journey is always not that easy and it's like you might start, it's your main source of income. How do you deal with that? Like you have to eat, you have to take care of other things, and it's the same thing. But at the end of the day, when you do your contribution plan and you have nothing against the grant, get some hope for that. So how do we deal with that challenge?
Thank you. On the question of where do you get money when you want to start business and you have to divide yourself between personal expenses, food, rent, etc., and also starting business. The initial stage is people normally fall for the three fools, yeah? 3 Fs, friends, family, and fools. You can talk to your friends to give you money to start the business if they are liquid enough. You can talk to family, brothers and sisters, parents to support you. Or you can approach people who are foolish enough to believe that your idea is worth investing in, and they might give you money. You know, you might not have this money. Often you won't, but those 3 categories of people might come into your rescue in the early stage. Before you grow, you know, to start attracting commercial funds or commercial interest loans, something like that. I hope that one helps.
How can we as youths be able to get support in whatever we are doing? Yes, so that at least we gain the stability. Yes, thank you.
So nowadays there is accelerators, business accelerators that are being run by different organizations that you can tap into. So you need to get in touch with him because there's YGAP, there's Growth Africa, there's Millennial-Legacy. There are so many businesses that run accelerators. Those accelerators are very good support structures that you need to mentor you in terms of your businesses. And your network becomes your network. If you just keep your network small within your clique of people, you'll most likely remain there. But if you go outside a little bit and scout for more from these accelerator programs, I think you can get very good support structures right now.
If we had the opportunity to be like partners with you, would you just measure us on the bags alone, or will you take us through even the other designs?
We also mentor as well. We just have to sit down, figure out what you can do, and then from there we see how to support.
So how do we determine that somebody is a mentor fit for my type of idea? Or do we just approach anyone?
Okay. One of my greatest mentors is right here. I used to have the same problem you have, because I'm also employed. So I would sell, I make a bag, I sell, use up the money, the whole of it, and then I get an order, then I'm like, oh, I don't have that money. I have to look for some money again, put it back in there. So it used to be, managing my finances was a big problem until I joined this mentorship program, courtesy of Millennial-Legacy, Women in Textile Industry, and from there, I created a rapport with the organization, and one time, through the secretary, I requested a meeting with him because this was becoming a challenge. I'm growing, yes, but at some point I'm stagnating because I could not manage my finances properly.
But I want to ask this question to everyone who is there. We all know that in business there is stiff competition. So how do you cope up with it, with the stiff competition that has been going around now all today?
iPhone does not care about Samsung users. It cares about its clientele of iPhone. So it is focused on serving that. Red Ocean strategy is the Kibuye strategy, where everybody is selling clothes, and you have to compete by literally cutting out the other. Red comes from blood, yeah? I cut you out, then I sell my clothes. So how do you stay afloat in the world of competitive business is by developing your clientele of customers and also determining areas in which your competitors are not exploiting and then becoming uniquely different from them. You see, we are both in blue ocean, in blue business, right? Blue economy. I don't even know how he is reaching his international market. But you see, he has cut the niche so much that I can't even bother competing him. You know, I have cut my niche in terms of addressing supply chain issues in the fish value chain. If we were just to do business of buying and selling fish, you'll find both of us in that Jubilee market, right? That's a fair example of a red ocean strategy, sort of.
I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, and I started business with 0 coin. And my business, one of the businesses that I started with 0 coin is M-Pesa business. And by then, there was a requirement that I must have 300,000 to start. But I was daring. I just did application with 0 coin in my pocket. Right now, as we speak, I have almost 150 outlets countrywide. So everybody can do it. We can do it. And I know together we can change the economy of this county, we can create jobs, and we can change livelihoods. Asanteni sana.
The next session will be on 12th of March, same place. A bit of a difference. Next time we are hoping to have an exhibition out there. So if you are an entrepreneur and you want us to see your product so that you don't just have a nice conversation here, but also we are able to see products like this out there, please register with the office so that on that day you can come and show us your products and also get to make customers through this platform. Thank you.